The dark skies on the morning of Friday 17th March 2017 let off a gentle patter of rain which pelted the soils. The rains ominously unleashed a cold which enveloped the entire country. At about 20 minutes past 9 o'clock, the Assistant Inspector General of Police Andrew Felix Kaweesi, in company of his driver Godfrey Mambewa and bodyguard Kenneth Irau, set off from Kulambiro in Kampala for Mukono, where he was meant to attend a meeting at Uganda Christian University. However, barely after he left his compound, a boda with two assailants began trailing him. 700 meters from his home, two assailants jumped off the motorcycle and swung into action, spraying the Prado TX with bullets and killing all the occupants. In the aftermath, police claimed that the assailants bore the hallmarks of the ADF execution style. With emotions running high, police arrested a number of suspects who were charged in courts of law. However, most of them have not been prosecuted due to lack of evidence. Today, the nation marks a year since the tragedy of monumental proportions unraveled. Many theories remain abound as to what exactly happened.
Mr. Kaweesi was a very sober, very intelligent, very honest human being.
He was our man, he was our security.
Yeah, you shall always remember him as a dedicated officer who was assassinated in line of duty.
We return to the scene of crime to piece up some of the vital clues that could have underpinned the success of this investigation.
It was around this time in this very spot that AIGP Andrew Felix Kaweesi was gruesomely murdered. Immediately on my right, I can see two shops, and then behind me, there is a boda stage. Now, on this left-hand side, I can see a kiosk, I can see some shops, and also many other shops the other side. An indication that this is a growing trading center. Now, my question is, could there have been anyone or any people who had also exactly what happened?
I spoke to this shopkeeper adjacent to the spot of the murder, but in his narration, he was closed.
That fateful day, luckily, it had rained in the morning. It rained the whole morning from 7. He was killed at 9. So that whole morning, I didn't even come out. I was in my bed, actually, when I had the bullets. I thought they were robbing a mobile money or a supermarket. I didn't know there was just something outside the gate here. When the fire opened, you could tell there were gunshots, yes, because it was very heavy. It was very heavy and it took a long time. It was about 10 minutes of firing back and forth. You know, after the first minute you can be sleeping, by the second minute you wake up, by the third minute it is too much, you have to check what is going on. So by the third minute I jumped out, but of course I didn't come out here. But I went straight to the sitting room. I was waiting, I was wondering what is going on. But as soon as I switched on the TV, just a few minutes, like about 15 minutes, that is when I realized there's something outside my gate.
This man recalls with horror what he saw barely 10 minutes after the shooting incident.
Dead bodies, cars, flat tires, bullets. It was basically a movie.
His shop still bears visible bullet holes. For Toniata Driwaru, the shooting was a close encounter with death.
Something said, no, it is too cold, I should not come. Then I said, let me come and mop here because I have friends, I will come and sit here. Then something told me, no, water is cold. I started there with the newspapers. When this thing started, I thought someone was carrying a mabat, these scraps. Then I started there. When it continued, I said, I'm now thinking like these people are coming to make this road. Maybe they're removing this thing, let me come and see. When I was coming, I saw a boda man. And I said, what's that? That there is a gunshot. Then I said, what happened? He said, there is a gun, they have shot a gun. So I said, maybe boda man has done something wrong. We were trying to come and open. When we opened it, that was when they fired this whatever here, that they called there. Then we went back. Then when they did their things, then we were coming back, we found his car was here. The man jumped, he said, "Mommy, they have shot Kaweesi."
It took police about 15 minutes to arrive at the scene, yet the nearest police post from Kaweesi's home is about a 4-minute drive. It has not been a walk in the park for Wambala and Ruwaru to heal from the shock and trauma that engulfed the sleepy rhythms of Kulambiro that day.
I could not believe. I started shivering, I started doing things like what? My head, I developed headache. Then I said, why here? Why? This man has done what? Why?
To this very day, it has not yet gotten back to normal. It's a very, everybody is really scared. Like if that can happen to him here, then what about me here, who's nobody?
Some locals have since shifted from this area. For example, we learned that the woman who used to vend charcoal from this stall, which is close to the spot where Kaweesi died, quit barely a few months after the shooting.
She closed the business. After about 6 months after that incident, she closed.
The place was isolated.
This mobile money kiosk allegedly used to have a different operator, but it since changed hands. Many cyclists who used to work at this border stage also left in the aftermath of the shooting. Most of those I attempted to talk to reveal they are new in this place.
Labikiranga arudde ku stage eno. Obaddewo bbanga ki?
Najja mu Gwakutaano.
Omwaka guno. Wajja mu Gwakutaano 2017. Kati gwe wavaawo okujja okukolera wano.
Erina mugongo.
Lwaki ate Namugongo waddukayo n'ojja eno?
Ono wenjagala.
Naye nga gwe tubadde twogera ku Andrew Felix Kaweesi omumanyi.
Ate mumanyi nze nasanga yafudde. Nabuulira nti yafaanana ali kimanyi nali mulaba ku TV.
We could not trace the current location of these cyclists, and the new ones did not want to reveal any details. To explain this mystery, my plan was to find an eyewitness. I was able to trace 2 youth. They revealed to me that they were approached by police to volunteer information. This is the account of this eyewitness.
Nze nali ndiyawo nga ngenda kukola wali ssaawa za kumakya nga ssaawa eddakiika 10 ne mpulira ebintu ebibwatuka.
I was preparing to head to work at about 10 minutes past 9 a.m. Then I heard explosives. I then tried to find out what was happening. I found Kaweesi's car was producing smoke. I thought it had heated up. I immediately decided to go and get water and help. When I got closer, I saw 2 people holding guns at either side of the car, shooting. I got scared and ran back and told my neighbor Kaweesi is being shot at.
Nenzoroka nenzira mu kikomera nengamba neighbor wange ntomanye ekiri wali omugenzi Kaweesi bali mukumukuba amasasi embulu zona zogerera waggulu.
This is what the second eyewitness recalls.
Tukabwenti nga ndawo motoka alona abasajja nga balina emmundu.
I saw the car, then some people with guns shooting all sides of the car, front and back. Behind the car there was a border rider on standby.
Ng'akuba tingemabega y'emmotoka nga waliyo owa boda akozeki atudde boda ye yenga alinze just nga tabiriko gye alaba bano.
What kind of guns did the assailants use to execute Kaweesi?
The guns used by police, AK-47.
Nagenda kulanga omusajja akutte embundu n'ayasa ekirawuli. Kati bwe yamala okukyasa jukaza zino embundu zaffe zino eza poliisi.
I saw the man use the gun to break the window glass. He was using the gun butt to break the glass. He opened the door, looked at Kaweesi, shot him again and again. While replacing the gun magazine, I got scared and took off.
Namukuba nakola ki? Nze Kaweesi nagenda okumulaba nga ali wansi nenda ba uniform nali sitegedde nga ye kubanga walimu bana bende bya black nengenda okulaba nga agudde nga ali serious nga bakubira ddala nga ali serious. Kati omukuzaako magazine mukunaka magazine kati we natia nenzira yoki emisinde.
Kati awo n'atunula bwete nakuba eri emotoka gye yali eva
He looked around, shot in both directions of the road and in the air. Then he moved out of my sight and I couldn't see anything.
Omuntu anogamba kati akoze ki? Azze.
Bali bambadde nga buno obujampa nga bwebise kuki ku mitwe.
They were wearing hooded jumpers. One was tall and the other short.
Nga ati webitegaatege nga ali mu bujaketi. Deno mulala nga mumpimpi nga lisyengulawo. Naye ng'olabira ddala sayizi ki nga mumpi.
If their account is true, it casts doubt on the theory that the assailants were four and traveled on two borders and the kind of guns used to liquidate the trio. The eyewitnesses reveal that the recently sacked duo, the IGP Kale Kaihura and former Security Minister Henry Tumukunde, sought to hear their accounts of this incident.
Bajja waliwo no Mr. Baloza najjaawo nga abuuza.
Baroza came asking around for witnesses to make statements. We were in fear. We didn't make statements. But someone knew my neighbor and he told them I had witnessed the shooting. I then was interviewed by General Tumukunde and General Kaihura. I told them about the guns, the physique of the shooters and much more. We were then dressed in white lab suits and taken to the scene to reenact what we had seen.
Katukyaliwo nga tukyatudde omukulu General Kaihura nayimirire n'atuyitisa engalo ne tugendayo. Mu kugendayo ne batuza emabega ne batwambaza bino ebintu ebya white. Kati bwe twatuukawo gye yali n'atukanga kutubuuza baali bayimiriddewa abaali bakuba ne tutandika okumulaga.
Later, they were taken away.
Waitako ebbanga ttono nnyo ne baleeta motoka yali ya Harrier.
Shortly, a Harrier was brought and four of us, all witnesses, were driven to Naguru.
Tatuuka Naguru ne batuleta lunch ne tulya. Tukasaawa nga 4 z'ekiro tugamba twagala kudda waka. Ne babeerawo ne bagamba n'omukulu tanatugamba.
When we got to Naguru, they brought us lunch. We ate. At about 10 p.m., we asked to go home. They said they had not received orders to let us go. At 11 p.m., we again asked to leave. This time, they let us go, but one of the witnesses, a lady, was asked to stay behind.
The next morning, they were carted off to a hotel in Makerere, and after 2 days, they were driven to another one in Chengera, where they were held till January 2018.
Kati kumacha, sawa ngemu. Neighbor wange ng'akola ki? Ng'ankonkona. Bakwagala. Ani wali omusajja akola ki akwagala? IGP yamusindisa. Ngenda ne musango wa neighbor wange nga batudde.
The next day in the morning, my neighbor knocked at my door and said I was needed. They said the IGP had sent for me. He told me they had erred in letting us come back home and the president had asked that the witnesses be picked again. So I asked how long they will keep us. I was told 1 month.
Mbuuza tebwe mutwala. Kijja kutwala ebbanga ki? Agamba ajja kutwala ng'omwezi nga gumu.
Ffe abamu twalina bintu tugenda ntugulako ku bintu ntugula ku nsawo ne tupaakinga ng'omuserikale asibya wakoze eki ng'atukuumye.
Some of us packed some clothes and then were driven to Naguru, Kainembabazi, where we met Baroza and Muhangi. We were given some money for upkeep and we were driven to a hotel in Makerere where we spent 2 days. Then we were picked at night and driven around the city to confuse us. We were then driven to a hotel in Chengera where they had sealed off a whole floor. Each of us had a room and would order room service. Both sides of the floor were guarded and we were not allowed to leave the hotel.
Erina ne conference na rooms nyingi buli muntu amuwa mu room ye nga buli kyenjagala okuba simu ne bakiketera kuva wansi kati nga kuba side na side batese abapolisi babiri nga twatuukiriza kukola ki okufuluma.
2 of the eyewitnesses were later taken to unidentified and asked to recognize the suspects. Inside the murky world of intelligence gathering and investigations, hours turned into days and days turned into months for these men who were held in a safe house.
Omwezi ne gugwa. Tawo ne tulya nga tukola ki? Nga tufa.
1 month down the road, we were scared. Our relatives were scared of calling us. Some of us even said our phones were being tapped.
Omuwaffe n'agamba naye kirabika n'amasimu gaffe bakola ki bagatapinga.
N'atuyisayo akasente. In fact, twali tugenda nga mu Easter. Kati n'atuleetera akasente ka Easter, buli omu yamuwa emitwalo 3 nga atugamba eza rent agenda kutuwa n'ebirala agenda kukola ky'okutuwa. Kati nitubeera awo ntugamba naye ntumubuuza naye tugenda kukumata ate ebintu bigenda kukola kikugwa muddeyo ki owammwe naye temukola ki tumutya nze akoze eki nze abalina. Kati ndowooza wayitawo nga weeks ng'emu bbiri n'atugamba ng'akola ki ng'agenda.
It was about Easter time. We were given 300,000 shillings each, and they promised to pay our rent and other things too. We asked when we would return home. We were told very soon, and that we would then return home. A week later, he told us he was traveling. He left us another officer who was a real problem. He wouldn't give us money and was always lying to us. We told him we had rent to pay and that we would be kicked out of our houses. He said the IGP had ordered that we do not leave.
Kati ne tukolaganamu n'abantu abo mu hoteri abakozi batonotono. Kati ne bagamba katukole ki fe order yaffe tujja kuba nga muwandi nga tujeyo order naye mutuwemu ki akasente.
We started working with some of the hotel staff and asked that when we order for food, they would instead give us money. They would give us 7,000 shillings for each meal. At the end of the week, they would pay us and we would send the money home.
Months later, a girl who was taken alongside them went missing mysteriously.
Kubanga twali tukuli ku hoteri ate ne tunoonya omuwala n'akola ki n'abula.
We searched the hotel and never found the girl. We don't know where she is.
In January this year, the eyewitnesses were buffered when they were driven to Nalufenya, a dungeon for hardcore criminals and terror suspects, which is equivalent to Guantanamo Bay, a US prison in Cuba holding high-profile terror suspects. On their way to Nalufenya, one of the suspects jumped off a moving truck. He was dumped into Chengera police station cells and later told to leave the safe house. The other eyewitness also fled from those holding him.
Nitulowooza bwe tunagenda ejinja ajja kuba bakoze eki batuziise tuwedde.
We knew that if we got to Nalufenya, that would be the end of us. Getting into the car, I knew that we all would never return. I even told the IGP.
Rest were released barely 2 days before Kaihura was sacked. Police spokesperson Emilian Kaima did not delve into details over why these eyewitnesses were held for 10 months. However, he confirmed that witness protection is common practice by the Uganda police and is unconditional.
When witnesses feel insecure for one reason or the other, they are given protection. What needs to be addressed in this case is the mindset. When I feel insecure, do I freely come to the police to share this with the police? Is it insecurity? Some actually don't feel insecure but feel the case has to be handled in 1 week. Why is it going on for 6 months, for 1 year? Have something to do. So they give up. They get tired very easily because some may not appreciate fully the system, how the system works, how the legal system could be stringent in one way or the other. Yet justice has to be given or has to be delivered through this system without rushing it or anything like that.
The candid account of these eyewitnesses adds another strand to the brazen killing of Kaweesi, which left a scar of conscience of a nation afflicted by a history of anarchy and bloodshed. Solomon Kaweesa, NTV.